Shabbat Shalom, my brothers and sisters. And today, this Shabbat reading will be in Genesis chapter 28, verses 10 through chapter 32, verses 3, and Hosea chapter 12, 13 through 14:10, and John 1, 19 through 51. And Yaakov went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of Elohim ascending and descending upon it. And behold, Yahuwah stood above it, and said, I am Yahuwah Elohim of Abraham thy father, and the Elohim of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land, for I will not leave thee, until I have done that which I have spoken of thee. And Yaakov awakened out of his sleep, and he said, Surely Elohim, Yahuwah Elohim, is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid, and said, How dreadful is this place! This is none other but the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of the Shemaim of heaven. And Yaakov rose up early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put for his pillows, and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel. But the name of that city was called Luz at the first. And Yaakov vowed a vow, saying, If Elohim will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat, and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall Yahuwah be my Elohim, and this stone, which I have set for a pillar, shall be Elohim's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the 10th unto thee. Then Yaakov went on his journey, and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying in it by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. And Yaakov said unto them, My brethren, whence be ye? And they said, Of Haran are we. And he said unto them, Know ye Laban the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, We cannot, until all the flax be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Yaakov saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban his mother's brother, that Jacob went near, and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban his mother's brother. And Yaakov kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And Yaakov told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Yaakov his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said unto him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And when he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Yaakov, Because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Yaakov loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to thee, than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Yaakov served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her. And Yaakov said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of this place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for an handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah, and he said to Laban, What is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet another 7 years. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. And Laban also gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. And when Yahuwah saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, Surely Yahuwah hath looked upon my affliction, now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Because Yahuwah hath heard I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and she said, Now will I praise Yahuwah. Therefore she called his name Yehudah, and left bearing. And when Rachel saw that she bare Yaakov no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said unto Yaakov, Give me children, or else I die. And Yaakov's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I Elohim? Am I in Elohim's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah her handmaid to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, Elohim hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. And Bilhah's Rachel's maid conceived again, and bare Yaakov a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. And when Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Yaakov a son. And Leah said, A troop cometh. And she called his name God. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Yaakov a second son. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. And then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, Is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband? And wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. And Yaakov came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. And Elohim hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived, and bare Yaakov the 5th son. And Leah said, Elohim hath given me my hire, because I had given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again, and bare Yaakov the 6th son. And Leah said, Elohim hath endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And afterward she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah. And Elohim remembered Rachel. And Elohim hearkened to her, and opened her womb. And she conceived, and bare a son. And said, Elohim hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, Yahuwah shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Yaakov said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go unto mine own place, and to my country. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service which I have done thee. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that Yahuwah hath blessed me for thy sake. And he said, Appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, Thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little, and thou hadst before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude. And Yahuwah hath blessed thee since my coming. And now when shall I provide for mine own house also? And he said, What shall I give thee? And Yaakov said, Thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. I will pass through all the flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and of such shall be my hire. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come for my hire before thy face. Every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word. And he removed that day the he-goats that were ring-straked and spotted, and all the she-goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them into the hand of his sons. And he set 3 days his journey betwixt himself and Yaakov fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Yaakov took him rods of green poplar, and of the hazel and chestnut tree, and piled white strakes in them, and made the white appear which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had piled before the flocks in the gutters in the watering troughs when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle ring-straked, speckled, and spotted. And Yaakov did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks toward the ring-straked, and all the brown in the flock of Laban he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not into Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Yaakov laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger were Yaakov's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maidservants, and menservants, and camels, and asses. And he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Yaakov hath taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's hath he gotten all this glory. And Yaakov behold the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before. And Yahuwah said unto Yaakov, Return unto the land of thy fathers, and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. And Yaakov sent and called Rachel and Leah unto the field unto his flock, and said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not toward me as before, but Elohim of my father hath been with me. And you know that with all my power I have served your father. And your father hath deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times, but Elohim suffered him not to hurt me. If he said thus, The speckled shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckled. And if he said thus, The ring-straked shall be thy hire, then bear all the cattle ring-straked. Thus Elohim hath taken away the cattle of your father, and given them to me. And it came to pass at the time that the cattle conceived, that I lifted up my hands, and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ring-straked, speckled, and grizzled. And the angel of Elohim spake unto me in a dream, saying, Yaakov. And I said, Here am I. And he said, Lift up now thine eyes, and see, all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring-straked, speckled, and grizzled. For I have seen all that Laban doeth unto thee. I am the Elohim of Bethel, where thou anointest the pillar, and where thou vowest a vow unto me. Now arise, get thee out from this land, and return unto the land of thy kindred. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, Is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not counted of him strangers? For he hath sold us, and hath quite devoured also our money. For all the riches which Elohim hath taken from our father, that is ours, our children's. Now then, whatsoever Elohim hath said unto thee, do. Yet then Yaakov rose up, and set his sons and his wives upon camels, and he carried away all his cattle and all his goods, which he had got, the cattle of his getting, which he had gotten in Padan Aram, for to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. And Laban went in to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the image that were her father's. And Yaakov stole away unawares to Laban the Syrian, in that he told him not that he had fled. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river, and set his face toward the Mount Gilead. And it was told Laban on the third day that Yaakov was fled. And he took his brethren with him, and pursued him 7 days' journey, and they overtook him in the Mount Gilead. And Elohim came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night, and said unto him, Take heed, thou speak not to Yaakov either good or bad. Then Laban overtook Yaakov. And Yaakov had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban had with his brethren pitched in the Mount of Gilead. And Laban said unto Yaakov, What hast thou done, that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives taken with a sword? Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly, and steal away from me, and didst not tell me, that I might have sent thee away with mirth, with songs, with tabrets, and with harp? And hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Thou hast now done foolishly in so doing. It is in the power of mine hand to do you hurt. But the Elohim of your father spoke unto me yesterday night, saying, take thou heed, that thou speak not to Yaakov either good or bad. And now thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou sorest longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods? And Yaakov answered and said unto Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, Peradventure thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me. With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live. Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Yaakov knew not that Rachel had stolen them. And Laban went into Yaakov's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the two maidservants' tent, but he found them not. And when he went out of Leah's tent, and entered into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the images, and put them in the camel's furniture, and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. And she said to her father, Let it not displease my lord, that I cannot rise before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images. And Yaakov was wroth, and chode with Laban. And Yaakov answered and said to Laban, Where is my trespass? What is my sin, that thou hast so hotly pursued after me? Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff? What hast thou found of all thy household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge betwixt us both. This 20 years have I been with thee. Thy ewes and thy she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flock have I not eaten. That which was torn of beasts I brought not unto thee. I bear the loss of it. Of my hand didst thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was. In the day the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from mine eyes. Thus have I been 20 years in thy house. I served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. Except the Elohim of my father, the Elohim of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely thou hadst sent me away now empty. Elohim has seen mine affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked ye yesternight. And Laban answered and said unto Yaakov, These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine. What can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne? Now therefore come thou, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee. And Yaakov took a stone, and set it up for a pillar. And Yaakov said unto his brethren, Gather stones. And they took stones, and made an heap, and they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Yegashahadutha, but Yaakov called it Galeed. And Laban said, This heap is witness between me and thee this day. Therefore was the name of it called Galeed. And Mitzpah he said, Yahuwah watch between me and thee when we are absent one from another. If thou shalt afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take other wives besides my daughters, no man is with us. See, Elohim is witness betwixt me and thee. And Laban said to Yaakov, Behold this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast betwixt me and thee. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to thee, and thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm. And the Elohim of Abraham, and the Elohim of Nahor, the Elohim of their father, judge betwixt us. And Yaakov sware by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Yaakov offered sacrifice on the mount, and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread, and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose up, and kissed his sons and his daughters, and blessed them. And Laban departed, and returned unto his place. And Yaakov went on his way, and the angels of Elohim met him. And when Yaakov saw them, he said, This is Elohim's house. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Yaakov sent messengers before him to Esau his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. Hosea 12, verse 12. And Yaakov fled into the country of Syria, and Israel served for a wife, and for a wife he kept sheep. And by a prophet Yahuwah brought Israel out of Egypt, and by a prophet was he preserved. Ephraim provoked him to anger most bitterly. Therefore shall he leave his blood upon him, and his reproach shall his Elohim return unto him. When Ephraim spake trembling, he exalted himself in Israel, but when he offended in Baal, he died. And now they sin more and more, and have made them molten images of their silver, and idols according to their own understanding. All of it the work of the craftsmen. They say of them, Let the men that sacrifice kiss the calves. Therefore they shall be as the morning cloud, and as the early dew that passeth away, as the chaff that is driven with the whirlwind out of the floor, and as the smoke out of the chimney. Yet I am Yahuwah thy Elohim from the land of Egypt, and thou shalt know no Elohim but me, for there is no Savior beside me. I did know thee in the wilderness, in the land of great drought. According to their pleasure, so were they filled. They were filled, and their heart was exalted. Therefore have they forgotten me. Therefore I will be unto them as a lion, as a leopard by the wall will I observe them. I will meet them as a bear that is bereaved of her whelps, and will rend the caul of their heart. And there will I devour them like a lion. The wild beast shall tear them. O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself, but in me is thine help. I will be thy king. Where is there another that may save thee in all thy cities, and thy judges, of whom thou saidst, Give me a king and princes? I gave thee a king in mine anger, and took him away in my wrath. The iniquity of Ephraim is bound up, his sin is hid. The sorrows of a traveling woman shall come upon him. He is an unwise son, for he should not stay long in the place of the breaking forth of children. I will ransom them from the power of the grave. I will redeem them from death. O death, I will be thy plagues. O grave, I will be thy destruction. Repentance shall be hid from mine eyes. Though he be fruitful among his brethren, an east wind shall come. The wind of Yahuwah shall come up from the wilderness, and his spring shall become dry, and his fountain shall be dried up, and he shall spoil the treasures of all pleasant vessels. Samaria shall become desolate, for she hath rebelled against her Elohim. And they shall fall by the sword, their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. O Israel, return unto Yahuwah thy Elohim, for thou hast fallen by thine iniquity. Take with you words, Turn to Yahuwah, say unto him, Take away all iniquity, and receive us graciously. So will we render the calves of our lips. Ashur shall not save us. We will not ride upon horses, neither will we say any more to the work of our hands, You are our gods, for in thee the fatherless find mercy. I will heal their backsliding. I will love them freely, for mine anger is turned away from him. I will be as the dew unto Israel. He shall grow as the lily, and cast forth his roots as Lebanon. His branches shall spread, and his beauty shall be as the olive tree, and his smell as Lebanon. They that dwell under the shadow shall return. They shall revive as the corn, and grow as the vine. The scent thereof shall be as the wine of Lebanon. Ephraim shall say, What have I to do any more with idols? I have heard him, and observed him. I am like a green fir tree. From me is thy fruit found. Who is wise? And he shall understand these things. Prudent, and he shall know them. For the ways of Yahuwah are right, and the just shall walk in them, but the transgressors shall fall therein. John chapter 1, starting in verse 19. And this is the record of John. When the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, Who art thou? And he confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am not the Mashiach. And they asked him, What then? Art thou Elias? And he said, I am not. Art thou a prophet? And he answered, No. Then said they unto him, Who art thou? That we may give an answer to them that sent us. What sayest thou of thyself? And he said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, Make straight the way of Yahuwah, as the prophet Isaiah said. And they which were sent of the Pharisees, and they which were sent were of the Pharisees. And they asked him and said unto him, Why baptizest thou then, if thou be not that Mashiach or Elias, neither that prophet? And John answered them, saying, I baptize with water, but there standeth one among you, whom ye know not. He it is, who coming after me is preferred before me, whose shoes latchet I am not worthy to unloose. These things were done in Bethabara, beyond Jordan, where John was baptizing. The next day John seeth Yahusha coming unto him, and saith, Behold, the Lamb of Elohim, which taketh away the sin of the world. This is he of whom I said, After me cometh a man which is preferred before me, for he was before me, and I knew him not, but that he should be made manifest to Israel. Therefore am I come baptizing with water. And John bare record, saying, I saw the Spirit descending from heaven like a dove, and it abode upon him. And I knew him not, but he that sent me to baptize with water, the same said unto me, Upon whom thou shalt see the Spirit descending and remaining on him, the same is he which baptizes with the Ruach HaKodesh. And I saw and I bear record that this is the Son of Elohim. And again the next day after John stood, and two of his disciples, and looking upon Yahusha as he walked, he said, Behold the Lamb of Elohim. And the two disciples heard him speak, and they followed Yahusha. And Yahusha turned and saw them following, and saith unto them, What seek ye? And they said unto him, Rabbi, which is to say, being interpreted, Master, where dwellest thou? And he said unto them, Come and see. They came and saw where he dwelt, and abode with him that day, for it was about the 10th hour. One of the two which heard John speak followed him, was Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. And he first findeth his own brother Simon, and saith unto him, We have found Mashiach, which is being interpreted the Christ. And he brought him to Yahusha. And when Yahusha beheld him, he said, Thou art Simon the son of Jonah. Thou shalt be called Cephas, which is by interpretation a stone. The day followed, Yahusha would go forth unto Galilee, and findeth Philip, and saith unto him, Follow me. Now Philip was of Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip findeth Nathanael, and saith unto him, We have found him, of whom Moshe in the law and the prophets did write, Yahusha of Nazareth, the son of Yosha. And Nathanael said unto him, Can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Philip said unto him, Come and see. Yahusha saw Nathanael coming to him, and saith of him, Behold an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile. Nathanael said unto him, Whence knowest thou me? And Yahusha answered and said unto thee, Before that Philip called thee, when thou wast under the fig tree, I saw thee. Nathanael answered and said unto him, Rabbi, thou art the son of Elohim, thou art the king of Israel. Yahusha answered and said unto him, Because I said unto thee, I saw thee under a fig tree, believest thou? Thou shalt see greater things than these. And he said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto you, hereafter you shall see heaven open, and the angels of Elohim ascending and descending upon the Son of Man.